Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. What do we have today? Same as we had yesterday. Besides the heat, and I was out there working on the plants, making sure, the little farm doesn't just run on its own. And I don't like to hire people to do something I can do myself and get good exercise out of. But anyway, you can see the dollar index this morning, all the talk, all the direction, everybody's staring at the wall in a sense. They're watching all the price tags go, the price of individual things from stocks to currencies to bonds to the dollar itself, index. It just, the commodities, we see different strengths, we see odd action. It just doesn't seem to stop. It just seems to be the consistency of it all. And I have to giggle like, oh my goodness gracious, it's kind of funny in some ways or another. You can see there, we got now look at that, the blue. Are they on two different charts? I think they're on two different charts now. I don't know, it just jumps all around, doesn't it? You can see, let's get where's that mouse at? There it is right there. And you can see, let's get some of that cord, there we go. You can see here on the dollar index, we're at 96, and the slow is at 91. So it's we've gone full circle where we had them both on the same screen. We had the Hinky Ashkies on a separate screen, and we had the bar chart on a separate screen. Let's see if I go underneath File, Workspaces. Where is that workspace? Recover from, redefault, open, reason. There it is, Manhattan. Let's see if we can get that one going. Let's see if that one opens up. That was so cool when I got that figured. Giannis, I got that figured out. I had it working, but not anymore. Let's go over to the chat line too. Okay, well that's not too bad. At least those two are together. Let's try that one more time. Let's see if the other one. Let's see, File, Workspace, Restore, Default, Workspace Settings. Open, File, Explorer, open. Let's see, where's it? Let's try that one. See if that one does it. Where they're all on separate lines. Doc Manhattan, I named it. And we'll see one more time. Nope. Okay, yeah, maybe. Where'd the Hinky Ashkies go? That's the bigger question. I guess if I go like that, they turn on and off. All right, and somehow or another, I'd gotten them on a different block there. Now you can see here, when we do it like this, that's kind of curious because let's make that bigger. The blue line, we just saw the blue line up at 93, and we see the slow at 90. Let's see if we can do this. We're not really, let's see, where's the blue at? So I guess what happens is that when they're laid on top of each other, they don't reflect their exact numbers. That's the disappointing part. That's all right. We'll get there. We're getting warmer, Giannis. We're getting warmer. That's all. That's the way all trading is with me. As far as I'm concerned, we slowly, as long as we see better and we're moving in the right direction. There we go. I see. Oh, let me lower that volume too. I see a bunch of people chatting. Holy moly! Somebody came in today. How nice. I've been lonely here. I've been very lonely. Very lonely. There we go. So there, Robin says hi. Mountain says hi. Janos says hi, everyone. That's good. GM Janos, hello. Doc seems late. Yeah, we're hitting record temperatures, and I wanted to make sure all the plants had all the water. Got a stock to look at. Oh, good. What stock do you want to look at? And there's the dollar index. Supports long term. Okay. Oh, what's that? Delta, isn't it? DAL? Oh, you want to look at all those? I love those stocks. They're fun. Oracle, J&J. I don't look at that too much anymore. Apple, I have. We have a lot of those stocks. We can pull them right up. Let's go take a look. Since we're getting questions. Questions need answers. Let's see. What's this say? Okay. Apple in focus, of course, with the next week's upcoming earnings. Yeah. It was. I have to say this about that. That's an old Richard Nixon statement. I have to say that Apple itself, let's see if we can find it right here. Let's open it up. Apple itself is trading really well technically with our work. And I'm impressed. I am impressed. It is. It's looking very good. It's when let's see if we can find it right here. Let's go find it. Where's it? Oh, I have to open up something else to get to the apple. Okay, let's go right here instead. Now there's the apple. Or it'll be Tesla. One or the other will pop up. Tesla. Okay, so there we go. There's Apple. And we went into the sell again yesterday. And we're flirting with it today. But, I thought, let's put the green line in there. Let's steal a couple green lines that we're not looking at, like that one. So we went into the green line there, and it was a buy all the way up until this point right there. And then it went into the buy on this one right there. Now let's add the sell. There's the sell right there. And I guess that was the discussion. They were going to rebalance everything. That's what that was. And now we're back into the sell yesterday right there. Okay. So there's Apple. But at the same time, let's see. If I tighten this up, you'll be able to see. It went into the weekly buy back in here. Let's move that line down. Right there. It went into the buy right there. Back in the 150-ish area, and it's been in the one. It's been, it's had almost like a 25% increase in value. Pretty cool action in it, and the daily buys have been really nice. The last daily buy was a good winner chicken dinner. What else can we say about it? Apple, to me, they're gonna have to. I guess when's the earnings next week? So we'll probably watch and see how they act. And see if the math starts to roll over. See if we start to go. You can see the weeklies. Look at the weeklies the way they've been. they barely challenged the time manifold. They can't even challenge the time manifold. Look at it, bounces off of that. They don't go after the zero line. Forget about that, as they would say in North Jersey. Hey, forget about it. Huh? And you have to understand how to understand. Forget about it. There's like forget about it. That means like I got it. Don't worry. And it's like forget about it. That's like I'm angry and I don't want to hear it again. And then there's a couple other forget abouts. Anyhow. Let's see. So there's the apple. Now, let's make a copy of that and throw it on that other one. And we'll throw copy and we'll do all the other stocks for you. Copy, window, close, workspace, yes to all. And then we go back over to here and we go file, paste. And there it is right there. All right, now that's Apple. Let's go take a look at, let's see, I think it's Delta. Isn't that DAL? I've heard some people complaining about that. Delta always has been a very interesting airline. Very volatile in its nature. Let's see if this has Delta on there. Yeah, there it is, Delta. It's one of the bigger airlines now. I don't even pay attention to the airlines anymore, just solely because I know how much debt they have to carry. But they're always fun to ride. It's like going to a racetrack, a dog racetrack or a car racetrack or a horse racetrack or any racetrack, right? And you bet the Delta when it's in the race. So in other words, if I'm paying attention to airline stocks, when the airline stocks look like they're doing well, that's the first one I think about buying. But do you really own them? When you go to a racetrack of any sort, horse, car, dog, whatever. If you go to the racetrack, you never really own them. You only bet on them. Does that make sense to you? On Chicago Quant on weekly, when the green line crosses down over the yellow line, that comes into a sell. Let's point that. Let's emphasize that on this stock. When the green line on the daily rolls over through the zero line, not through the yellow line as much as, let's put the zero line up there. It tells us that weakness is coming. So just as we see here where the green line bounces along the manifold, the yellow line in the plus, It doesn't make it a sell. It just tells us that some selling's been going on. And that day makes a new low. And then the following day, you see that it's lifted off of it, and you get a buy. Now, you're already in a buy in this particular product. The buy was back in here. Went into the daily buy right there. We're going to steal that sell. The sell was right there. Okay, so let's emphasize that. So the sell was right there. Let's move this one over to here. And so you can see here, it goes into the sell, but it's in a weekly buy. And so you don't want to short that. You're just going to wait. In other words, if you've been long from that nice, from that buy, or you've been in bull positions, or you have binaries on, you want to hedge it all of a sudden. You want to start thinking about hedging. Next day it pops, and what's it do? It closes down because it's went into a sell here. But are we taking the trade? No, we're just taking the profits. Or defending our position. You choose your verbiage you want. Then you can see right here, it drops underneath the zero line. There's pressure. But again, the weekly refuses to go below the zero line. That's the most important thing, is the zero line. Now you can see here right at the moment, the fast has joined in on that sell. We went into the buy right there, and we are now waiting. Let's move that sell over here. It is actually threatening as we speak to get into the zero line right there. I'm going to make that green just solely because it's sitting there. And so that's where we're at the moment. Does that answer your question there, Mountain? So on Chicago Quant, on weekly, when the green line crosses down over the yellow line, that comes into a sell. No. So that's exactly it. So it's not in the sell. It has to break the zero line. Now, the fast algo right here gives us a heads up that there's pressure on the product. You see it breaking the manifold there, and we see it weak, and then it pops up again, but it hasn't broken the zero line. Just shows you that the weakness is coming. For the same thing with the green, but it's nowhere near the manifold. The manifold kind of reminds you. That's what the histograms do. They remind you. You can see it here. It breaks the histogram. So we're starting to break down. Right there. You see that spot right there? It's breaking down. And we see this thing still climbing. By the end of that week, or 3 days later, we are now really starting to break down. It's giving us a heads up days ahead of time, which is astonishing to me. It took me half a decade to a decade to even accept that concept could be real. It was like, I kept on seeing it do things. I would be like, how does this thing know 2 or 3 days earlier? What is it telling? In other words, the algorithm is telling us there's weakness coming down. It's like some type of rate of change or something in it that's telling us it's running out of energy. And remember, I designed this for physics, this mathematics, 5 decades ago. And so it picks up objects everywhere and anywhere. Be it a galaxy expanding. If I take the math and look at an expanding galaxy, and I look at the temperature, the thermodynamics of that expanding galaxy that could be like 37, 36 million years old, right? And you look at that expanding galaxy, because we can measure galaxies that are like only 36 million years old. And you look at it, there are young galaxies, there's old galaxies out there, billions of years old. And I look at it and I see the thermodynamic shift. And the next thing I know is it's not a statistical average. It starts to diminish in temperature. How the hell does it do that? I designed this to be able to chase atoms, to get rid of the idea of the Higgs boson and accelerators. I was anti-accelerator in the 70s. So we were really, I was hunting to try to figure out a way of measuring something on an atomic level. I know it sounds strange, but then when they legalized options, a lot of us left the scientific community and ran to the financial community. And I put my math to it a little bit here or there, but I didn't. I was just learning and trying to discover. And then I thought one day when I saw some of the math they're using, like stochastics and moving averages, I thought, well, why don't you try yours? So I started trying my math algorithm. And it identifies objects, be it in a galaxy or a stock or an isotope. and it predicts its nature a couple days down the road. How it does it, why it does it, not how it does it. I understand how it does it. I invented it. Why it does it, I have no idea. You know, it's yeah, I don't know. But in the end result, so you see, this is taking our math, right? Let's go back to this now. All right, here's your weekly, and we're taking our fast-moving algorithm, and notice it breaks the histogram, right, which is a one standard deviation of our math. Okay, the green line is a 2 standard deviation of our math. Okay, the blue dotted line is a more reduced average of our math. This is a larger average of our math. The histogram and the green line and the manifolds. The blue is a 3. That's why it's called Super 3, 3-5. Everything is 5 in it except for the blue line. It's a 3. And there's no distortion in scaling. Okay? Does that make sense to you now? Oh, let's see. I haven't even looked at the chat line. Okay. When the green line crosses down over the yellow, both daily and weekly, it seems like it's a confirmed sell. Yes, that's correct. Looking at it, price bars. Right, exactly. Although it's not crossed the 0 line true. Yes, exactly. Hi, Naeem. How you doing? Good morning to you, or good afternoon, or even good evening. So, yes, that's right, Mountain. That's what that is. And so what we're seeing there now is that there's internal weakness going on the longer trend of a week. On the daily's still in the buy, but threatening the sell today in the Delta Airlines. And you can see it's been trying to roll over before this peak. That's what's always got me curious. Look at this. There's the peak right there. That one, I guess it is right there. How did it know that 5, 6, 7 days later it's going to peak, go into a daily sell the day before, and break down? Blows my mind every bloody day for the last 50 years. Yeah, down 1.6. Okay, let's see. Let's go find that other stock you're interested in. Oh, Oracle. Yeah, I like Ellis. He's a pretty good guy. Oh, you know what I've been saving, Janos? You got to see this. You got to see the DAX. I don't know what we were talking about with the DAX index at the time, and you wanted to look at it, but I drew some triangles, remember? I'm going to show it to you after we're done this. You should see it bounced off the triangle. It blows my mind on that, too. Okay, let's see, Oracle. Let's go find Oracle. O-R-C-L. There's Oracle. There's Oracle. Let's get this in there. Let's get the weekly in there. O-R-C-L. Okay, so there's Oracle. Let's move that line where it belongs, right there. There's the buy. No, that's not the buy. That's the buy. Goes into a buy there. Where's our 0 line? Let's put the 0 line in there so we can see it. There's the 0 line. Maybe we need to make it thicker even. There we go. So there's a 0 line there. You can see the 0 line here. So it got into the buy there. Nice move. And it was in a weekly buy to begin with. Let's see when it went into that weekly buy. Back in... Woo. Wow. We went into a weekly buy back in March. Oh, it's one of those where the slow had to catch up to the... the fast had to catch up to the slow. That's interesting. That can be very explosive on the upside. See, the blue was underneath, and then all of a sudden, let's see, where the hell's the 0 line again? Where'd my 0 line go? I just put a 0 line in there, didn't I? All right, let's put another 0 line in there. There we go. Yeah, you can see the blue was lagging. Boy, it took off. Where did it go in at? Went in at the 87 area, something like that. And let's move it over now. So that was 2 weeks into the end of March. And we've been in the buy ever since. Now, the fast has broken down a few times, especially this peak up in here. Both of them started to break. Oh, there's the zero line again. It's up there now. And so you can see, matter of fact, last week I went into a weekly sell. You see that? It broke underneath the weekly, into the weekly sell finally. So, and you can see the weakness it's been breaking down. And then, it keeps on breaking down. Let's see, there's a sell. Let's steal that sell and put that right there. That's the sell there. The buy is right there. Next day they popped it. There was a profit there. There's a sell again. No, that's the buy number. Put that right there. Okay. And there's your sell again. And then let's put a sell in there. There it is. Went into the sell there. We're still in the sell. And then it went into the weekly sell, and now we're jumping right back into the weekly buy. So that's interesting. Let's see, I'm not even looking at the price tag. What is it? $118. Okay, so it picked up from 80, 85, 15, and 33. So it picked up like 40 some odd percent. So it was a real strong weekly buy. That's cool. It joined in well. Open. Okay, let's see. Now, what's the next stock? Johnson & Johnson. Now, one of the brothers, he's a farmer. He always comes out with the cattle, and he's got the horse. Goes to the rodeo. We always see him. We don't see him around a lot anymore, but because he's pretty old at this point. But one of the two brothers, he was. That's why they started Cook's College. It's basically Cook's College is a division of Rutgers University, and Cook's. Matter of fact, the Grange gives out a full boat scholarship to any Grange member that wants to go to Cook's College, which is Rutgers. So if you want to go to Rutgers University for free, which is like $40,000 a year, and they're a Big Ten school. If you take up anything in agriculture as a major, the Grange will pay for your scholarship for free. Yeah, he's a farm boy. Must be doing drugs out there on the high plane. Remember, better people through better chemistry. All right, the hippie just came out of me. Sorry about that. All right, so let's get Johnson & Johnson up on the screen here. J&J. Yeah, he used to herd his cattle a lot. It was always funny. He used to do these chuck wagon things, with his. Oh, I don't have it in there. Let's get that. Add symbol. I thought we looked at that before. That's odd. Stock. Look up. They haven't had a lot of problems in a long time. They're a good company. Okay. J and J. There she is. Ooh, look at that pop. Nice. So, 170s. Cool. I used to trade J&J at one time. Maybe 3 decades back I used to trade it. Okay, it's went into the weekly buy right in here. You see the fast moved up first in the 160 area? 160 area. And now it's at 176. But it rode up. You can see this. See, there's the buy right there. Then it went into the sell right there. Then it went back into the buy right next day. No, yeah. Went into the buy right there, and that was a loser. And went into the sell there. My God, look at that. That you definitely lose money on that. And then you get a buy there, and it's still in the buy from that point, solely because we have a green dot and the minus doesn't. That's another thing, Mountain. If on a daily, if the green dot is on the bar at the same time and it's gone minus, it's still a buy until the next day, and then you have to do it then and see it went back up into the buy, and then you had that move. So it's been in a buy since there. Caught the whole move there. That's cool. So it makes up everything you lost right here. As usual, our math makes up. If you lose, it finds a way to make it back and then some. It always does. At least for the last back testing 90 some odd years on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and back testing on individual stocks and so forth over the last 6 decades. So it always does it. It doesn't matter what stupidity happens to a company. It will put you in the right direction to go long, go short, or usually one or the other. It tells you when to be neutral. But I remember Enron. Anybody remember Enron out there? Energy company. We got up into the 60s, got in trouble. Put us into a weekly sell at 63. It didn't come into a weekly buy again until something like 27, which was a big move back then. 50% drop in a corporation. Okay, did I get them all? Let's see. Johnson & Johnson, Apple, Oracle, and Delta Airlines. Makes up for what you lost earlier. I totally agree. Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. It does. That's why it's so important when Robin says stuff like money management, and stops, or options married to the option to the underlining. When you do money management right, you're going to gain from this math all the time. I don't think many technicians can say that out loud. Not only that, do it live every day. How many market technicians every day do it live, giving people opportunity to scrutinize them for free? Okay, I'm off the soapbox. All right, where'd we leave off? We were looking at the dollar index. So there's a dollar index up there. Let's go over to the euro and see what that's up to. I think it's just reflecting it's a little stronger. Definitely. What did I do wrong here now? Oh, there it is. It's reflecting the strength, that's for sure. Let's turn the hinkies on. All right. But we're at the top end of the range. When they're separate, that's kind of curious because it shows that the purple was at 93. Yeah, see, it's still telling us it's at 93. There it is right there, 96 now. The fast, or the green, the blue is at 96. So there's still strength coming in on this thing. Let's take a look at it on Chicago Quant. Traders, I am happy to talk about anything. So you want to divert me from what I'm looking at or send me earlier to what you like to see, just let me know. I'm very quick to show, to look at it. I need variety. It's the spice of life. Let's see. What am I looking for? Oh, yeah, dollar index. Let's see. Okay. Right there. There's the dollar index right there. Yeah, it's been in the daily buy. Can't get into the weekly buy. So I don't really. To me, it's a dead cat bounce. It's the math is keeping us protected. It's telling us not to be short when the weekly's been short for 2 months now. So we're kind of stuck in this neutral thing with it. Now, if you're a company and you need the currency, then on the short term, it has short-term pressure on the upside. It's not telling you to go load the boat. It's just telling you to hedge yourself on a day-to-day basis so that you can, not have to pay so much more for the currency that you... Oh, what's that? Giannis says, Tesla coming up earnings week. Any thought on it? Yeah, I think we're back into the weekly buy again. Let me go find it. Let's put it up on the screen again there. Yeah, I follow it every day. You see it on my spreadsheet, right? It's on there every day. Tesla. Tesla. Okay. Okay, yeah. So it went into the weekly sell last week. It's doing that same thing as what stock was that? Was that Oracle? That went into the weekly sell and now is right back into the trying to get into the weekly buy again. It's doing the same thing. The buy was right there. Nothing major, but it was by that point it was underneath the manifold, so you didn't really want to take the buy. But you knew something was brewing on the downside because of the way it's starting to roll over. Both of these in particular, and there's the zero line right there. So all that move there, the weekly was trying to tell you, no, we're getting out for the time being, and it did. What did it do? It fell from 299 down to 3 days later or 2 days later. It was at 255, so that's $44. It went into the sell on this one right there. And then, so I guess if the buy goes into the buy and we get in the weekly, it'll probably go take out the $300 area or something like that. That would be the logic of it all. There's that sell there. I think that buys right there, isn't it? Right there. Yeah, it's this one. Let's make that thing go all the way up. I'm confused. There, yeah. Okay, yeah, so. Oh, I see. It was in the middle there. That's the 14th. That's the 17th. Okay. Interesting. So it really went into the buy right there. Okay. Well, it was a nice long buy back further. Interesting. What's all these green lights? Oh my God, that's funny. Let's move that over to there. And then move that over there somewhere. And move, what was that? Where'd it go into the buy there? I guess it was right there. It went into the buy. And it went in. Okay, that was a long ride, wasn't it? My goodness. Okay, yeah, there you go. There's the Tesla. Yes. Quite some good opportunities shown. Oh, it really is. The market is, well, you were gone. I was telling people that I see this as confirmation that Trump's going to crush it. He's going to crush it. He's going to win. He's going to win the presidency with 200 million votes or something crazy. He's going to get more votes than has ever been. Well, it'll take decades for us to get that back to that again. He will. He's going to win by like 200 million votes. None of this 70 million versus 75. Trump is doing voter harvesting like the Democrats. They shouldn't play that game. Now they've shown Trump how to play that game. You think the multi-billionaire is not going to play it now? 38 of the 50 states allow voter harvesting. Trump is voter harvesting in every state. He's going to probably, if a state has 2 million voters, he's probably going to have like 1.5 million of the votes. He's going to voter harvest everything. He'll voter harvest cows. He's going to voter harvest everything. There's going to be he's going to, and I think the markets are staring at that. They know that, I've used this as an example a few times on this webinar throughout the years. I've used this as an example, and I'm talking about it throughout my life. There's a couple of products that have been in the same situation as Donald Trump. Okay? One was digital equipment. I don't know if anybody here is old enough to even remember digital equipment. Another one is Pennsylvania Utility, and the third one is AT&T when it was Ma Bell. Okay? Now, AT&T was trading at some crazy ratio and everybody couldn't understand why it's trading at some crazy ratio of like 30 times earnings or 40 times earnings when it's almost a utility. And it went on for a couple years. Stocks trading at $18 a share, $17 a share. It should be trading at like $6 or $7 a share. This is when $18 stocks were more important. This is before Ma Bell broke up. This is at the beginning of the options, listed options creation back in the 70s and the 80s. And the stock is trading at like $19 and $20 a share and 21, and it's trading at like 40 times earnings. And people are like, short it, short it, short it, and they're getting their heads handed to them year after year, year after year. I'm not talking about week after week or month after month. I'm talking about year after year. Sure enough, Ronald Reagan wanted to open up the communications industry so that we could have what we have today. And we couldn't have it with just one company in control of all communications. You're talking about cellular telephones and telephone lines and long distance. If I called long distance back then, my phone bills back in the 80s would be $2,000, $3,000 a month. Okay? $2,000 or $3,000 a month for just like 3 telephone lines, and I was drawing in, like, I was using one like a T1 line, bringing for fax machines and things like that, and making a handshake on some computer stuff, back then. So that's the one example. Well, I can tell you how it ended. The stock trading at around 21 for a couple years ended up closing out around $150 a share. Maybe more even. Maybe $250 a share. Something like that. It was crazy. Insane. They split all 7 companies up, and it exploded up into the hundreds. Okay? When they split those companies up, the stock went to 200 and something, and and that's how that all worked out. Okay, here's the second example. Same situation as the Trump situation. In other words, they know Trump's coming back in. He's going to open the drilling. He's going to reduce the taxes. He's going to have a Senate and a House in support, and the economy is going to explode. It's going to explode up, and it'll help the world lift up finally. Okay. The second one was Limerick, the nuclear power plant, and Pennsylvania utilities. Stock was paying something like 21% dividend for like 4 years. Everybody tried to short it over and over and over again. It was a utility. Tried to short it. Didn't work. Limerick came open finally. They were the last to build a 3-reactor nuclear power plant in the early 80s. And sure enough, the stock exploded up because of it. Third one, digital equipment. The greatest example of them all. Okay? Stock's trading at $200 a share when no stock would trade at even $100 a share back before there were options. Before options. Okay? During the option years, the stock's trading constantly 195, 210, 217, 196, hanging in there for years. Digital equipment. Today, digital equipment, what digital equipment was in the 70s and the 80s was the father of Wi-Fi and networking. In the end, Cisco Systems owns them now. Okay? And so when they had no earnings, they made Amazon look like, Fort Knox. Amazon had no earnings for a long time. And they anticipated that it would go somewhere. That stuff. When the market sees something and they know that next year or 2 years down the road, it's going to come to fruition, it will trade those prices and not let go. Okay, there's my example of it all. All right. The pioneer always is. Let's see. Yeah, we always talk about pioneers on the trading floor. By someone or a successor takes over the marks. Yeah, we always said the pioneer usually gets the arrow on his back. But we always used to say, on the trading floor, we used to say, but the cavalry is coming over the hill. And if they get in there and they find that the pioneers are all dead, we hope that they didn't have one bullet left. We hope that they fought to the bitter end. And so that you're right, that's the pioneer. And the pioneer, when they get it right, and that's what Trump is, he's a pioneer. He's going to he's going to bring us back to a healthy capitalism. And the markets know that, and they're not letting go. some of the earnings. I understand S&Ps are trading at 25 times future earnings at this point. 25. That's a big number, and it doesn't want to let go. It has no interest in letting go because they see that the cavalry is coming, and in this case, the cavalry is going to do voter harvesting in 38 states. You don't think the guy can't afford it? He's a multi-billionaire. He's going to do it. That's why they're trying to lock him up in every which way. They need to get rid of him. So that is that. That's why the markets are firm. Probably why the dollar is weakening more and more on some level. It's opening the doorway, but they know that Trumpy's coming around the corner. So the dollar is going to be firm for a bunch of years. But the thing is that other currency pairs should gain from this. If they conduct good business practice of lower taxes and less regulation, their currencies are going to fly. The fundamentals will come back in. Who knows? QE might even be gotten rid of, and the deficit will start to diminish. Things like that could possibly happen. The markets are looking at that right now and saying, I can't sell it. I might not buy it, but I can't sell it. Matter of fact, I was telling people here over the last couple of weeks, there's over $5 trillion on the sidelines. And out of the $5 trillion, 2 of it should be invested in the market already. In other words, their incorporation manifestos, the whole bit. The market is about $2 trillion underinvested right now. When you say firm, do you mean like just consolidating? Yeah, that's what I think. I think that's exactly the way to describe it too. Consolidating. Oh, I just saw your question up there. Fairship. Let's see. Oh, I must have missed it. Fairship. Let's see. Gold. Do you want to see gold? Let's go to gold. I'm sorry I didn't put that up there for you. I would have had it up there while I was yakking away. I'm on the jazz now. Okay. Here is gold on Chicago Quant. That is the August contract. We're getting ready to go into the December contract. You can see we've been in a sell for a few days. The weekly buy, jumped into the weekly buy last week. Kind of curious. The fast has been in a weekly buy for a couple weeks. Strength seems to be coming in. It's kind of interesting. Let's put it up on J4X. Right there. You can see the same thing on the daily. Here's the weekly on J4X. You see it's doing the same thing. It's trying to lift. They're showing the strength. That's why we changed this color to bluish purple, because just like this one right here, it's been the same way for 3 weeks. It's been trying to lift, and it is lifting. And I'm always astonished that it doesn't lift. That's the major thing. I'm always confused why it doesn't lift. What did Mountain say? Now I see. I was rambling. So if you combine your math with options, you invariably win, right? Yes, exactly. Then let's see. There's gold. Tesla coming up with earnings. Giannis Pioneer. Let's see. We say it means like just consolidating. Yeah, I don't think Ferris. Ferris. I really don't think we have real selling. I mean, there's always profit taking going on during a day and a week, but I don't think we're going to get a lot of real selling. I think we can get a lack of buying. That's what I think you're going to see. That's, I think, what we just saw the last couple of days with the high techs. And I keep on seeing the statistics. The hedge fund industry is getting slaughtered over the last 2 or 3 years, over the last 5 years. Their shorts are underperforming their longs. They're just not. They're just not producing. There's an underlining of demand, because the funds themselves are underinvested. They're on the edge of underinvestment all the time now. They're starting to give up on it. They're starting to think, okay, I'll nibble more. I was saying to Robin, when was it, Robin? Would I say this yesterday to you, or did I say it Friday? The Congress goes out of session this week. They don't come back until September, okay, mid-September or something like that. Okay, that puts them 3 months away from 2024, just 3 months away. 3 months from 24, we start primaries in January and February in 24. We're going to be going into presidential primaries in 24. in essence, like in financial sense, in 3 months in a sense. In other words, the markets are going to be sanguine, quiet, kind of passive for the next couple months, for the next month and a half going into this mid-September. Then all of a sudden, here we are, October, November, December, and primaries are beginning, and there's already presidential debates are starting in August, within the next, 4 to 6 weeks. So we're in the dead heat of the beginning of confirming who's going to be the next president. We're right on the edge of it. And that's what the markets are staring at. And they're not willing to sell. Does that make any sense to all of you? I hope it does. Because I kind of think that's what I'm looking at. I've seen this too many times. I've been involved in the market since Nixon. So, since Richard Nixon. So, it's kind of like, I kind of see, I see characteristics. I remember when Gerald Ford was moved, they moved the vice president out, Spiro Agnew, and then he moved Gerald Ford in, and then a year later, Gerald Ford became the president, and Nixon resigned, and I remember the markets in the middle of all that, the way they were working, and, this is, it's looking like that's that stall that's going on now. They're probably trying to figure out they're going to remove the vice president, I don't know, or they're just going to let JoJo the monkey just kind of march around for another X amount of year and a half, and then all of a sudden there'll be primaries. Remember, primaries are around the corner. Out of nowhere, Joe could win the primary or get beat up badly in the primary, but still be the presidential candidate, and the next thing you know, he's retiring or something like that. It's not, anything's possible. I don't think the markets are looking at it thinking we're going to have 4 more years of JoJo. That's for sure. Let me make that bigger because that the heart is blocking the word. I can't see that last word. So just short-term trades for a year, and I can't see what that word is. Let's see if we can put a word in there somewhere. Let's see, will it let me chat? I'm just going to put like a number or something. Okay, there we go. There we go. Year or so, yeah. So just short-term trades for a year or so. No, I think long-term trades are getting built right now. Funds kind of, what they do is they slowly invest in companies that they trust. And so what they'll do is they'll sell calls against it. They'll sell puts, naked puts against it for what they have to consume. In other words, let's say they're averaging constantly, which they normally are. So then not only do they keep their balanced portfolio, but they may even sell some puts to take in premium to pay for the stock cheaper if it's too expensive now, if it's overpriced. So, good managed funds will do good things. They'll do logical things. But the hedge funds themselves, who are very short-term orientated most of the time, or a lot of them are getting trapped because their shorts are not outperforming their longs. Does that make sense to you, Ferris? Okay, where are we at now? So there's the gold. And you can see, we're still flirting. Let's take a look at silver. Looks like there's silver. Silver's trying to lift up. We're in the weekly buy in that too for a bunch of weeks now. Then, you know what I want to look at real quick? I want to see where the Turkish lira is. See if it made an all-time high today. There it is right there. No all-time high. The Turkish lira, I know it's wrong to laugh. I know I shouldn't. But it is truly an entertaining thing to watch. It's not an entertaining to live through. Let's put it that way. I feel sorry for the population. I feel sorry for the former prime minister, now president, who has saw his currency go from $1 to $30, or 30 euros. I'm sorry, 30 euros, from €1 to 30 euros. And I'm sympathetic to the population about that. But it is totally fascinating to watch, to see something like that happen. It's like watching history. Okay, cool. All right, let's go back to the metals. Let's see where we left off with silver. Was it? There's silver. Let's go take a look at crude oil. Oh, let me see. Gold. Gold doing the same thing as silver. They're flirting with trying to get back into the buy. They're trying. We'll see. Remember, it's very, a good example. Here's a good one, Ferris. When you go look at here, let me see if I can put it up on the screen. I'm going to show you. I'm going to put it on the screen. Let's see right here. Here is gold. And you can see there's the July contract trading at $1,960. The August contract is at $1,957, which is the real expiring one. Matter of fact, the July contract is gone probably. And the September contract is at $68, so it's $11 more. October, is basically $21 or $20 higher than August. You go to the December contract, and it is $30 higher. You go 6 months out. Let's say April gold, $238 a contract right now, right there. Okay, you go look at December, $2,110. You can see the back months are way more firmer in this thing because they can't take delivery. Now see, there's no volume in the others, and the only other one is the June contract has some open interest. So it's a vote. It's at $2,150 a contract at the moment. The December contract is of 25, which is basically 2+ years away, is trading at $2,177. So the back months are being bought when they can. When they can, they do. They buy them, okay? Because they can't take delivery of them. So they're not afraid to be long, way out there. It tells you a lot about the market. Just like when we go and look at crude oil, and then we're going to get out of here. Crude oil, there it is right there. Crude oil, the front month, it's the September contract, which expires in the middle of August 20th or 19th, is at $78.60. That's now the November contract at $78.60. Let's see where the November contract is at $77.85. So it's 75 cents lower. So it's telling you that the front month is in demand, whereas they're trying to take delivery. When it comes to gold, they can't take delivery. They cannot. Or it would be way up because people would take delivery and go sell the back month. There's no way in the world they can take delivery. Only very few can take delivery of gold. They don't let everybody do it. Because they could go to buy it, and then that's, and obviously the back months are not lower, they're higher. So that means they can't take delivery, and they can't, and they're not willing to give up gold at a cheap price just because a year and a half from now it could be easily trading a couple $100 higher. That's the futures contract reflect it, All right, where am I at now? I guess that's about the end of the game. What else we got to talk about here? Anybody want to see anything else before I get out of here? I know what the title should be today. The title should be, underpriced, undervalued. Excellent. All right, Janos, I will catch you tomorrow. How about that? We had some people in today. I'm so happy. Time for the market to open. I know I got a position I need to unwind. It's making money, and I've been long for 2.5 months. And I got to take it off. It expires in 3.5 weeks, and I don't like to let them get to that point where it's hedged, and it's been making money as it rises. So I want to try to unwind that thing today. And I've been trying to do all the farming at the same time. Oh, dear. I'm just a citizen trader. There we go. All right. This is Doc from North America, heading back to the cows. All right. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Thank you, guys and gals, for coming. And I love having to answer questions. It makes Doc think. It's like being in the trading pit again. Later.